We were on the morning break on the day of the questioning of the undercover police officer and manager, Bob Lambert. I'm joined by Belinda Harvey, who was deceived by Bob Lambert into a long-term relationship. What have you made of the bullshit he's come out with this morning?
Well, it's just more of the same, really. Main thing that he says is, "I cannot recall."
He said it 5 times in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah,
I'm not, it was like doesn't.
absolutely. I mean, it is his
Yeah.
phrase. I mean, there were quite a few periods of silence as
Yeah.
well
Yeah.
this time.
Quite
where
a
he
lot
was-
of meandering, sort of saying a few words, stopping, saying
Yeah.
a few words, just not like sentences that made no sense. I mean,
Yeah.
what we've come to expect from him, really.
Yeah, really. I mean, it's clear he doesn't want to accidentally say something that he shouldn't. So he's sort of considering it very carefully. So he claims that when he took over as the manager, he didn't know anything. They didn't talk about Stephen Lawrence much, or what it was about or anything, even though it was like the most important thing happening at that time. Claims that nobody ever talked about possibility of sexual relations, or whether that could be an issue, and or of any relevance, and then he does go on to admit that he wasn't really a suitable person to be taking that role, and that he felt very conflicted by that at the time. So it's a shame he wasn't a bit more conflicted than he was, because he went ahead and took the role.
Yeah, I mean, it was like Barr put to him, is it really his evidence that he was conflicted? A lot of time has passed. Like he said, I'm not questioning whether conflicted now, but at the time. And I mean, it was, why did you, if you thought it was a problem for you to do it, why did you take it? And he was, duty, importance. It really didn't have anything. He was asked quite a bit about HN86, who is the other manager, the chief superintendent, who has brought a judicial review against the inquiry, trying to get out of it, coming to give evidence himself. And he made some quite ridiculous claims about HN86, that he was a considerate, caring man, a kind man. He never heard of him being racist, quite contradictory to many other things we've heard about HN86. He also said, hilariously, that when he went into the unit, that HN86 told him about some excellent role models who were senior officers. And the only example he could give was Andy Coles, because Andy Coles had the innovation of having a pet dog.
Yeah, I mean, how revolutionary is that?
Really,
he's called it tradecraft. So, that's part of sort of, development of the trade of being an undercover cop.
Getting a pet dog.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose, so, but they talked about that, but not about relationships or if they might arise, or what you would do in those situations. So, he was kind of trying to skirt around the issue of whether these role models or exemplary officers were engaging in sexual relationships, because he couldn't say, because they didn't really discuss such things.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was ridiculous. He was also asked about Bob Potter, Potty Bob, or Potty Mouth Bob, as he's been referred to. I mean, even those who've sought to kind of defend him have admitted that he was very prone to swearing a lot. And, it sounds like a fairly gross character, even if you're being charitable. But Bob was like, oh no, he was a very kind, considerate man. And he tried to play down the incident where Bob Potter drunkenly barged into a black church and sexually assaulted a member of the congregation, by talking about he was an ordinary guy who ended up in some public premises and had some sort of altercation.
Yeah. I mean, it was all about public premises. They just couldn't be anywhere, like wherever it was, and he just apparently just went berserk and had some kind of episode. Really.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of playing down, really, I felt, in what Lambert had to say about that. We haven't got very far. I mean, it's been, an hour and a half of evidence. And I mean, I really feel that, if you wanted to, we've covered most of the things that were asked. I mean, there was a whole bunch about his lack of training. Yeah. He claims he never witnessed any racism anywhere, when he worked in Brixton, when he was a special branch.
No, never. And even from, obviously, this potty mouth guy, no, never in front of her. So, where that happened.
Yeah, it's he's again, as we saw him last time, sort of trying to portray himself as some sort of frail character,
Yeah.
like very gingerly getting up and sitting down and acting like a confused man at the nursing home a bit.
Yes, he is, and we clearly know that is an act. Yeah, it's an act.
Yeah, very much. I'm not expecting we're going to get a huge amount of more sense out of him as the day goes on. I mean, Barr did point out, look, we're going to go through a lot of the paperwork. Are you going to maintain this?
Yeah.
And he was,
Yep. He's planning to. I mean, the only thing he did say was that, as we've already mentioned, that he wasn't a suitable candidate, but nevertheless he went ahead with it. So again, that's really fit, does it? I think probably the reality is his experience was seen as another part of tradecraft, like another skill in his skill set, and he used that to great effect as a manager, because a lot of his the people he managed did have relationships, so it seems bizarre to say that they were discouraged from it.
Yeah, I mean, it was quite ridiculous. I mean, he was asked about Alan Bond, HN67, who was rumored to have fathered a child, and he said, he never heard anything like that. And he said, and then he said, we heard a rumor that someone had fathered a child, but it could have been me, couldn't it? And had a good laugh about that.
Yeah, so that was really funny.
Yeah, I mean, entirely inappropriate. I mean,
really inappropriate, and actually says quite a lot of, well, what does he think? I mean, it's just incredible to laugh about something like that. And also, he said, I mean, it seems incredible. He sort of admitted that he'd heard a kind of vague rumor about it. Yeah,
wouldn't have drawn who from.
No, or who it was about, and it could have been him. Yeah, but it just seems bizarre, because given the fact that he had fathered a child. And he knew he'd fathered a child. His ears would have pricked up if he'd have heard any rumours about someone else. Surely, and it's not the kind of thing you forget.
No, I mean, it is. I mean, if supposedly nobody knew the fact that he'd fathered a child. If he'd heard the rumor, surely he would have been really worried that they're onto him.
Yes,
and it could have affected his position.
Absolutely, but the truth is that again, it was part of his skill set, and that was why he was recruited properly.
Yeah, he was asked about the Lawrence family a bit, and the infiltration and the intelligence gathering on the family. He had to admit that they did have an interest in what sort of people the Lawrences were. It should be noted, Doreen Lawrence, Baroness Lawrence, is in the room and was there to hear it. He tried to sort of obfuscate and go, oh no, they were concerned about the revolutionary left and the relationship.
Yeah, I mean, he did definitely say that they were interested. They wanted to stop the left taking over the campaign or something like that. That kind of thing. So he admitted that was an issue, which I've not heard them have it before properly.
I mean, it was also, there was a lot of the stuff put to him about what HN86 had said about how the black community was being led by the far left, and he said, "Oh yes, that was his view as well." He was, that somehow the black community were being hoodwinked by lefties,
which is obviously totally ridiculous. I mean, the black community don't need. Don't need any help. They're perfectly capable of organising and themselves. And obviously, we would support that. What right-minded person wouldn't? Right,
absolutely. It's only a short break. We'll be going back in fairly soon. Any other comments before we do?
No, I don't think so.
Well, thanks for joining us. We'll have a longer reaction at lunchtime. We've got more of Bob to go. He's here for the next 4 days. Please help share these videos, like, subscribe, all that usual stuff, and catch you again.